some food for thought. About 1 year ago, I went on a short vacation. I wanted to visit my dad. I actually went to visit E-Tech Parts, and I also went to, I had planned on visiting a client that I was going to fire. I actually wound up becoming irritated at this particular client, so I never even bothered visiting. And I visit E-Tech, and I'm talking, and we're going over a lot of shop stuff, and we came to the subject of one particular screen, and it was like there's not a lot of profit in selling that because they were only buying it from some vendor in Pennsylvania that sells it for something like 150, 160 bucks. They sell everything for stupid amounts of money. And I had mentioned, well, you can get that for 72 bucks. And they went, oh. And I said, yeah. And they go, I don't know, we're not really sure if we could sell that. We sell a lot of iPhone screens. I'm not sure we'll buy this stuff. And I go, well, actually, I don't sell LCDs anymore. And there's I used to have an LCD selling company, and I have people who ask me for them, and I don't really want to be in that business anymore. So what if I just told them to buy from you? And this is a school. Like, it's not like a regular Joe who's buying like 5 screens a week. This is what I was selling to these people by the pallet load. I'm like, here, you can have it. I don't want anything in return. Just deal with this stuff so I don't look like an asshole for saying, I'm sorry, I don't want to help you anymore. And they gotta have made like at least 20,000 bucks off of that, minimum. And there are some friends of mine that have like 5 stores, a place here that has 3 stores, a place here that has multiple. I was telling all these people, just buy from them. And they got some good business off of that. I never expected anything in return, never asked for anything in return, never wanted anything in return. I wind up complaining like once about this order that I got where like 15 or I forget if it was 10, 15 or 20 screens. Every single one of them were just like peeling and falling apart. Like I had bitched once in the past about something, but I didn't name them. But this one time I just like complained. And this was not on their social media. This was on some private forum social media. I wind up getting banned from their social media, which I hadn't posted to for months. And so does Jessa, who also pointed out at the time that their shit blows backlight filters by not having Captain tape around something that's conductive. That's bad. We both get banned. And it kind of is like, man, this is why I tell you, like, don't do things for people that don't do things for you. Because it really, like, this is really how it ends. And it's really like nobody's fault but myself to complain about it. Because, I asked for it. Like, every single time I try to do something nice for somebody that hasn't really helped me, it just winds up fucking me in the ass. It's like, and then there's ifixit. So the reason I brought up E-Tech, this is not a video about E-Tech, this is about ifixit. So they're getting into this whole wholesale parts business as well, which is the same thing that E-Tech does. They're selling parts to repair shops. That's what E-Tech specializes in, and that's what ifixit would like to start specializing in. I have done nothing but just complain and show disdain and badmouth not just the people, not just the culture, not just the user base, not just the guides, not just the information, but just everything from start to finish. I have spent 7 years complaining about. From the first moment that I remember opening up an ifixit guide and seeing that they had 49 steps, where I was removing the battery, I was removing the keyboard, I was removing the display assembly, I was removing the bottom screws, when literally all I had to do was pop something off, take 4 screws off the side, 4 screws off the other side, and that was it. And the first time I ever did this, I did it the bullshit ifixit way because I didn't know any better. Because it looked like a credible site. It looked like it was run by people who really cared about repair and cared what they were doing. But in reality, they didn't know jack shit, which is why they're telling me this convoluted manner that takes an hour and a half when the real way to do it takes like 7 or 9 minutes. And I just I didn't really like that part of the culture. It didn't really, like, I come from the tech culture of people who know their stuff doing the talking, and if you don't know your stuff, you just kind of don't do the talking until you do. And if you do the talking before you know your stuff, there's usually consequences for it because you're spreading misinformation. And there's nothing worse on planet Earth than spreading poor information. And it just seemed like the opposite there. It was like, well, we're not really sure, but we're trying. And as nice as that sounds, it doesn't really work when you seem like the authority on the topic. When you seem like the authority on the topic, that's not really that's not good, because then people are going to think that that's right. And Jessa kind of got me involved in posting on their forums, and I was banging my head against the wall almost every single day at some at some of this stuff, and just reading some of it and reading the responses to the correct information and reading the incorrect information, and you could just make you want to stick a soldering iron right through your eyeball. And then again, like I have done nothing but complain about the culture, about the whole, like we're here to fix the world versus we're here to make $50 selling iPhone 3GS digitizers for $55. Like I have always complained about the what I perceive as their goal versus their actual goal, about their culture being one of kind of feigned ignorance, but coming from a point of authority. I've complained about the user base. I have just a lot. And what do I get in the mail today after complaining about their user base, after never making them a dime, after never giving them a client list, after never helping them out, but a microscope that I imagine must cost at the very least $1,000 as an upgrade from my other one. Not only can you view the camera port while viewing both of these at the same time, but you also get an adjustable zoom and an overall a much better quality image and a much better light than what was on my old one. And that's not something I ever asked for. That's not something that certainly is not something I've ever paid them for. But it's here with a card. And that's really interesting because now they're doing what they're doing, the thing that I tell you not to do, which is again putting goodwill out there into the world towards people who have never really had goodwill towards you. And it just really goes to show the culture, and again the positive side, I would say, of the culture of being a good sport. Again, I make you $20,000 for virtually nothing and ask nothing in return from you, and you ban me and one of my good friends from your social media outlets, and you erase her history from blogs that she did with you, that she spent time on, that she put care and effort into. And then there's this other company that I just shit can every day from everything from, again, the ethics, the culture, the mission statement, the pricing, the information, the user base. And what lands at my store this morning, other than an very expensive, very high-end microscope. I mean, really, like, a small part of me dies inside every time I see that video of a woman heat gunning, like suggesting that you are going to repair a bulk array chipset problem on a console with a heat gun. Let's get past the argument for just a short moment of whether or not BGA rework in terms of reballing, if reballing is a solution to graphics chip to flip chip related problems. That's a debate that will go on to the end of time. Let's just throw that to the wind for a second and take everybody from both sides of the fence. Is a heat gun how you fix BGA problems? Will a heat gun warp the board versus a proper BGA station that provides proper bottom heat in addition to top heat with temperature regulation? It fucks it up, and again, just it's so bad. And this content is, again, it's coming from an authority. Jessa will often tell me that. They're trying to learn, they're trying to do this, that, and the other, and learn as they go. But you don't get then present yourself as an intern. Like present like it should be, I learn it, like, or I'm trying.org, not ifixit, because you're calling that fixed and it is not fucking fixed. And the worst part about it is there's a woman in the video, so again, there's this big stereotype in tech that women don't know shit. I'm not saying that it is a correct stereotype, but what I'm saying is that sadly in 2015 it is still a present sexist stereotype that women are just less technically savvy. And what better way to support this ridiculous stereotype than having a brand with authority have a woman use a heat gun on a PlayStation 3 or an Xbox? Like, it's just it's just frustrating. And don't get it twisted. This is cool. This is cool, but I had mentioned in some other video about like being asked to show up at some type of PR event for exposure. If You guys who work in the music industry, you know what exposure is. You know, my friend Jake has this great saying, can I take it to the deli and cash it in for a sandwich? Meaning, what you're offering me, what you're sitting down to propose to me, is it something that if I were to try to bring to a deli, could I use what you're giving me as currency to pay for my meal? And if I can't, I'm not interested in talking to you. And the suggestion that I got really didn't meet. It didn't meet that. And again, and it's cool. This is really cool, but the guy at the deli is not going to give me anything in exchange for a microscope. But let's get past that. This is pretty cool, and I think this honestly deserves a moment of silence from bitching about ifixit. So what I would like to ask is just for a very short period of time, like, you know how they have these periods of silence and things like that? Let's just have a short period of silence for bitching about ifixit and bitching about their guides that tell you how to do things ass backwards, and bitching about their forums where you have a pile-on of people who say it's impossible to fix a MacBook Air screen, and bitching about their ridiculously overpriced parts because of poofy branding. Because, you know what? Today, their foofy branding and their overpriced parts paid for a very, very nice microscope, which is going to improve the quality of the videos that I do here for all of you. And regardless of what your opinion is of them or their company, regardless of what your opinion is of them and a lot of their clueless user base, or their culture of, well, there's the truth and the information that's actually true, and then there's what we kind of want to believe. Ignore all of that for a minute and just, there's a microscope sitting on my desk that has to cost at least $1,000 that I don't deserve and that there's no reason that should be here. So let's just have a short moment of silence for bitching about ifixit, to respect that this very nice offering that just got landed on my desk here for no good reason. And it's pretty cool. It has one issue. Again, it's an Omano microscope. I love Omano microscopes. They make amazing microscopes. But one of the things that they suck at is getting it right the first time they mail it to you. So my 1030, it was showing you something different in the left eye than the right. And what this did is it caused you to go slowly insane. And this one is not without its flaws. It's in the actual microscope that I see, it's perfect. But in the part where you can see what's going on in there, it looks a little bit just a little bit funny on the left side. So the left side will be blurry and the right side won't be, which is, again, that's totally fine. I will find a way to fix that, because this thing, again, was free. And when something lands on your desk that was free, that's from a high-quality company, you'll figure out a way to make it work. I'll figure out a way to make this damn thing work. So again, that's the LCD connector on the left side, and then as I move it, on the right side, that's the LCD connector on the right side. So let's just get that in focus here. And as you move it to the left, it just becomes slowly shittier. And there's also this thing with the... So see, this is ideal, right? So ideally, in an ideal world, if I were to buy a lens, a camera, and a microscope from the same fucking company, it would be set up in a manner where when I screw it together, it just works out of the box. Whereas here's what's in focus to my eyes, and here's what the camera sees when this is in focus to my eyes, when it's screwed in the way I believe it should be in the box. Needless to say, that's not the greatest. And also, it does this thing where it falls over. It has the same condition that, let's say, Kim Kardashian or Paris Hilton have when you put a camcorder in front of them, where it just starts to go. You know, like that. That's what this is doing right here. It's been doing that all day. And, again, it's the same thing that happens to Kim Kardashian or Paris Hilton when you get them in front of a camcorder in a closed, well-lit room. But again, I'll figure that out. You know what? To get a much nicer microscope for no money, I will happily exercise my forearms figuring out how to get this thing to stop acting like a slut bucket. And we will fix that, and it will work. Hopefully it will work better than this crappy LCD connector that I did. Look at that shit. Oh, you can't, because fucking I swear. This is, a lot of you guys, you keep saying, why don't you fix your hack? Or why don't you fix your hack? Or why don't you fix this? Why don't you fix that? Yeah, this is the luck with the tools, man. This is the luck. This is the luck. This is what happens every time I get a fucking tool. Whether somebody else buys it from me or whether I get it from me. So we're only in focus at the very, very top, and the very, very top is where this shit starts to fall out of the thing. But yeah, I'm going to fix that. I mean, I'm not the one who paid for it, but Amano don't need to know that. So they're going to get, politely, but they're going to get bitched at because second time I got some shit from them that doesn't remotely work the way I would expect something made and sold in America that costs a lot of money to. But again, I'm not to bitch about Amano too much. They make some damn good products. I like their microscopes. I just wish they'd work out of the box, Like, I did this once. I would like to not be fucking cursed when it comes to buying tools. Again, like I buy a heating element from Allspec with next day shipping. It works worse than the fucking one I took out of the hot air station. It's just the luck. But yeah, you know what? I may not have good things to say about the information that you find at ifixit. I may not have good things to say about the culture that you have at ifixit, which is the whole let's save the world by fixing everything. Oh, that's going to take some effort and brain power to fix. I give up now. I may not have a lot of good things to say about the attitudes and the what I perceive to be just a disconnect between this whole we care about fixing the world and making things sustainable and blah blah blah, but you care about the $55 iPhone 3GS digitizer. Just put somewhere in the print that you care about the money. Like just somewhere. Like just please. Like just please. But you know what I have to say? Above anything else, they are good sports. Like really. Again, 7 years of just nonstop berating these people. And I'm not banned from their forum. I'm not banned from their Facebook wall out of fear that I may actually expose their parts for the crap that they are, unlike the other company, which I honestly never planned to do. I really made one comment in a private forum about one order, and that was it. But it takes a good sport to not only deal with all that garbage, but to actually send me something that costs this amount of money. And to all you other people out there, you may be saying that's not a lot of money. Let me tell you something. When there's somebody that doesn't really like me and somebody that doesn't really respect me, I'm not dropping $1,000 on them. I'll tell you that much. So again, short moment of silence. I am banning anybody who is a subscriber to this channel from bitching about ifixit for a minimum of 1 week from the date that I upload this video, because you will be watching future videos that I do. And the future videos that I do will be just a bit less of a pain in the ass because I can now look through both eyepieces of the microscope instead of one, because this allows me to do that, and because it allows me to see things better. And that's pretty cool. And it doesn't really matter what I think of them as a company, or what I think of them as people, or what I think of their business model, or what I think of their culture. It's not just who people are that matters, it's also their actions. And this is an action that says that we all should just shut the fuck up for a week on our hate for ifixit. And that's that for this video. Thank you.